Hey guys, it's your girl Ty. Happy Social Worker Appreciation Month. This month we will be covering social issues. I just want to give a huge shout out to all the social workers out there. We appreciate you.
You've got Ty on the line on her podcast. So what's on her mind? And for you now, you are listening to Ty on the line.
Okay, so I'm going to start off with an icebreaker. So this is a piece of toilet paper. Take as many sheets as you need to wipe your behind after number 2.
For like the whole duration, or the like part by part?
However you do it. However
Step
you
by
do
step.
it.
That's kind of
You taking a little bit, sis.
That's kind of
I mean, I'm small.
That's
My
kind of
feet, my thing.
That's
I
kind
don't
of
need
a
that
lot of
much. I don't need that much.
You go like that man grip. You gotta.
Kept me going whole fist side. I mean, I just
You're not a mummy. You're doing it wrong.
Bruh, I just make a lot of trips, so I make trips.
I'm
trips.
not dapping you up no more.
I'm not dapping you up no more. You got your whole hand.
What you mean? He's clean.
I'm clean.
Whoa, Kim.
All right, so you got your sheets, and you're gonna tell based on how many sheets you have, how many facts about you.
Whoa.
You
Yo.
Look at your hand.
So you gotta lie.
I got
so we
3
gonna let you.
facts. I'm good.
You're gonna go last since you have a lot. You got some thinking to do.
Hey, start counting.
I'm gonna start hiding some of these squares.
We're gonna have to fold this in 2
right.
because.
So who wants to start?
All right, Depay, you go first.
I got 3 things.
Okay.
Okay, should I rip one off and then do the?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, I'm Haitian, but I'm also Nigerian. My mom's from Nigeria, my dad's from Haiti.
Okay.
So, that's a mix.
That's
So, if my
dope.
krill's not 100, that is why.
That's on you, bruh.
I might seem pretty tall, but I'm really short in my family. Like, I'm the short one. My little brother's 6'3", and my mom's youngest brother, or second youngest brother, is like 6'6". My dad's younger brother is 6'6", so I'm short.
How tall are you?
I'm like 6 foot, 6'1".
Oh wow.
And what's another one?
What you doing?
That don't count.
Hey, Kev, I saw that.
You got
Half a
put those
fact.
2 together.
Half a fact.
Hey, do what y'all doing. We need these facts.
Half a fact.
We need these facts.
You
Go
got a
on.
half a fact. Last one. I have a lot of stereotypes that are kind of true about me. Nothing racist stereotypes, but just like the stereotypical guy stuff. I like that. I like beer. I don't go out to drink like hard liquor. So
Beer is disgusting.
that's about that.
All right, I guess I'll go. Well, first off, I'm Trisha. My
I didn't even
first
think about
fact
my
is
name.
I like to write. Second fact is I am interested in science. This fact is that I'm very self-care. Like I like to do a lot of self-care stuff. I also very much care for my friends and family. Like I very much go hard for them. How much more do I got? Okay.
Got some time.
I'm very creative and very social when it needs to be. What else? I like to go out a lot. I ain't got nothing else, honestly.
You gotta finish.
I'm a dancer.
Okay.
What else is there to do?
What type of dance?
Right now I do liturgical dancing, and it's mixed with like ballet, jazz, and contemporary. So we do a lot of that. And, well, I'm a host on a podcast. There's that.
Hey.
And,
Kev, your face. You okay?
we're going to skip this one because I ain't got nothing. And, yeah, I'm Trisha. That's about it, honestly.
I want to start off by saying I feel
not a
highly
mummy.
played.
I mean, I asked a question. Y'all should have peeped by how many I had. You was just like, you tripping. I'm like,
Kev,
okay.
if you're not a mummy, you're not doing it right. If it rips, keep going.
Oh my gosh. But
No, we're
I
not
don't
going by
even think-
twos. We're going to go 1,
Bro,
2,
I don't
3, 4,
even know.
It's a
5.
2-ply, not a 4-ply.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'm Kevin, 24 years old, October, so Libras, that's where it's at. Also Haitian.
You're stealing my stuff.
Graduate of FAU.
Okay.
You
Okay.
missing a fact there.
Go Owls.
You missing a fact there.
I'm part of this lovely podcast.
Hey,
Ignorant. the Broken Panel.
You're missing something.
It's good, bro. I got this. Dang, facts about myself. I consider myself an introvert, but my friends don't.
Definitely not.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm very introverted, but
you?
but I have times where I'm silly. Or silent.
Follow him on IG.
That is my Instagram name. Silly or silent. Dang, I got way too many papers.
You better keep going, Kev.
Do you want us to
Hey,
help
Kev,
your
wait.
facts?
He has a beard.
He has a beard, yes.
Dang.
Brothers, sisters.
Oh, I got
Where you were born.
one sister.
Favorite color.
Born in this country. You feel me?
Are you the oldest, the youngest?
I am the oldest.
That's a fact
That's
right
one
there.
for you, eh?
Okay.
Work
Favorite
for
movie.
you.
Oh, favorite
If
movie.
you're not a mummy, you're not doing it right, huh?
I'm an optometrist in training.
Okay.
Sports.
Love basketball and track. That's
How many times each your ankles break?
Every day he's on the court.
That's a fact.
What else can I say about myself?
Favorite movie. Favorite song.
How old are you, Kevin?
already said that.
Favorite movie is Friday.
Oh, he did.
Okay.
Say his age.
What else?
Do you like ice cream?
Sure, I like ice cream. I like ice cream. I'm not enjoying this game. I'm highly nervous and I'm done.
No, you're not.
Facts,
Bruh.
bro.
I'm done. These are facts.
For me, I have to think of facts that I didn't already say. Okay, my name is Taika, but I prefer Thai. I graduated in May. You already know that. I'm a social work major.
Nah, I already know these facts.
Give us
I saw episode one.
Okay,
Nah.
okay. I love R&B throwbacks. Like, that's all I listen
Okay.
to. I'm really
Okay.
big
Nice.
into
Okay.
that. I also like City Girls. I feel like balance.
Yes.
You need balance.
Yes, I love
Hey,
it.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Ratchets.
I love getting my nails done.
Yes, that's a fact. I like that too.
So it's kind of hard, huh?
It's
kind
kinda
of hard.
hard.
It's kind of
I
hard.
felt like I had them in my head.
Imagine if you had 20 more scores.
We know a lot about Kev.
Let's see.
We're on a personal note.
Oh, I'm
okay.
the middle child.
You're middle
Bam,
child. Okay.
there we go.
Okay, J. Cole. All right.
Yes. We have the same birthday, actually.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
dope.
Wow, she gave a bonus fact too.
Ow.
Where were you at, Kev?
Yeah, Kev, you had half a
slacking.
fact. You missed out.
Okay, we're over. All right,
All
let's
right,
go.
right.
We're done with mine.
Cancel.
So based off of my self-love episode, I did get a lot of feedback from guys and how they have to suppress their feelings sometimes due to culture, due to society. So I felt like it would be a great episode to talk about. We have some questions that we're going to randomly pick outside of the bowl, and we're just going to go ahead and discuss that. I would like you guys to formally introduce yourselves to the podcast. I don't think you guys did that.
Okay, I'll go first. I'm Trisha. You can find me on the Broken Panel podcast, and you can also find me on Instagram, Trish2_UH.
My name is DePay. If you know me from Instagram or YouTube, my name is DePay from the Ray. You can also find me on YouTube, DePay from the Ray. I'm a trainer, and I'm also a member of the Broken Panel podcast at the Broken Panel podcast on IG.
All right, so I'm gonna plug in the Broken Panel podcast. I'm also a member of the Broken Panel podcast. I'm Kevin. You can find me on Instagram as Silly or Silent. You can find the Broken Panel podcast on your Apple Podcast app and SoundCloud. I was about to say Spotify.
Not yet.
Okay, cool. So who wants to pick the first question out the bowl?
You guys can go first.
Ladies
All right, I'm gonna
Okay.
pick first, but I'm not gonna talk first. All right.
Nah, bro.
It don't work like
pick,
that.
you
You
talk.
pick, you
pick,
talk.
pick,
You
you
start off the
speak.
conversation.
All right. First question. How do you recognize and deal with mental health among your friends? Examples: depression, anxiety, etc.
You gonna answer first?
No.
Oh wow. Okay.
Good pay.
Oh,
Popcorn?
on the spot. Okay. What paragraph were you on? Okay.
You need to read that.
I mean, that's a good one. I mean, I feel like I'm a bad friend now when I think about this kind of stuff because in like my friend group, I don't have a bunch of people that I interact with that I switch out. It's like everybody I've been with is people I've been with for a long time. So it's like maybe I'm not as, present when it comes to looking for these kinds of things. I don't
Why
know.
is that though?
Just because it's like, for me and like a lot of my friends, it's like we're mostly guys, so it's never like I'm gonna come to my homeboy and be like, man, I'm really having a down day. Be like, my head is kind of low.
Huh,
Like,
look at that masculinity right there.
I mean,
there.
yeah, that is
Right.
a problem because it's like we don't. I mean, I'm not gonna sit there and open up all my feelings though. It's like that.
But why not?
That's,
If that's
man.
your
I'm
friend,
here.
if you feel like that's your
your
safe
bro.
place.
that's a no.
Dang, bro.
That's a no.
Oh wow.
Kev, if I came to you in tears one day and I don't know why I'm crying, what you gonna do?
He's gonna laugh first.
Exactly. Exactly.
I know I wouldn't. No,
You're
I
laughing
wouldn't.
right now.
No, that's because
Kev, I have
Trish-
down days too.
Don't say Trish.
I'm not always up.
All right.
Exactly. You a bad friend
I'm
too.
not a bad friend. I just need that opportunity to happen. And
You're gonna laugh and then,
I'm
and then
not.
what's up?
I promise I won't, bro. I promise.
All right.
I
Hey,
won't.
and I remember you live close to me too. I'm gonna knock on your door.
All right.
That's his invitation.
Door's always open.
All right, cool.
Door's always open.
Hey,
Trish, you want to go next?
yeah.
Okay, so for me, I'm actually very close with my friends, as to the point where, like, if there is something off about them, I will ask them flat out what's wrong. And or if, like, let's say I don't say it in person what's wrong, I'll call them or text them randomly and be like, hey, what's going on with you, whatever. And, like, we'll actually sit there and discuss. And, like, I have a friend right now, she'll tell me whenever she's in her depressive mode or states, and then, like, I'll kind of talk to her, kind of give her some advice. Like, I always tell her, like, if you have anything wrong, just call me, let me know. But as for me, I'm the type of person, I don't really necessarily, like, go out front and tell people, oh, this is wrong with me, this is whatever. It's not until, like, things start like getting really tough, then I'll start to, like, all right, let me reach out. But more so, I don't really reach out to friends. I more so reach out to my cousin because she's my best friend.
Okay, that's understandable. Well, with me, since I'm a social work major, I'm the the non-paid therapist to my friends. So everybody kind of already comes to me with their problems. But it's hard for me, like you said, to come out and speak about my problems, because it's kind of like I feel like I have to be strong for everybody else. And it's also to the point that if I do talk about my problems, my friends are like, girl, you tripping.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, because so everybody's so used to me being strong. So for me to be like, okay, I'm really dealing with something, or I'm really going through this, it's like hard for them to I guess flip the script and be there for me in a way. And I don't fault them for that. I just think that they're just used to the way things are, because all of my friends I've been friends with for a long period of time. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so
Yeah.
but why is it that you see yourself as perceived as always being strong?
I
If you
guess
don't mind me asking.
because of the fact that everybody comes to me as if I already have the answer. So for that reason, I think that they put me on that level. So it's like I have to be on that level to
So
match it.
Then
know?
do you feel like pressurized by them to be on that level, or?
I don't feel like it's by them. I more so feel like it's by me, because of the fact that I know that they expect that out of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Kev, you gonna answer? Or
Yeah, I
no?
was about to
Oh
say.
man, I really thought I got away with that one. So basically, depression and anxiety, those are serious topics. Inside my group of friends, I just basically I let them know that I am a listening ear. They can come to me with anything. I joke a lot, but if you come to me with a different mood or something, I will take you seriously. I've had I would like to say I had many car talks, because those are like the realest
best,
conversations.
Right.
I've had many of those with my friends, and I just like to tell my friends that if you're going through something, I'm here. That's basically what I do. As far as figuring out if they're going through something without them telling me, I feel like I'm a person, I can read a room, the vibes that people give me, and if I see something is wrong, then I'll ask. So it's basically where I stand on the depression and the anxiety thing. So
That's really good. Who wants to pick out the pot? It's so far from me.
What does masculinity mean to you? Kev, popcorn?
Oh, yes.
I don't like my friends today. All right. What does masculinity mean to me? That is a tricky topic for me, because I believe masculinity is just a set of rules that society has put on the males. It's a set of rules and guidelines that I don't necessarily agree with, because to each his own, really. I didn't get to choose these rules, so why do I have to fulfill them? That's my take on masculinity. You're gonna see that answer is gonna present itself in a lot of my answers. But pretty much that's what masculinity
Do you
means
feel
to
like
me.
it's a social construct?
It
then?
is a social construct because I had no bearing on these rules or regulations to begin with. I was just born, and you told me that this is something I have to do. That's a social construct. I that's how I honestly feel.
So you never questioned it? You never...
I always question it. I always question it because it doesn't make a lot of the things that society does not make sense to me, and it bothers me that people don't ask questions and they just go along with the flow. A lot of things in this world aren't right, but people just do it anyways. I would just like the population to just ask, why are you doing something before you do it?
But Kev, if we all do it, then we don't have to question it because we're all doing it.
I think you're misconstruing my words, but all right.
I am.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so I guess it's my popcorn. Let's see. I mean, like, I don't know. That's a really good question. One that I can't really give like a Webster's dictionary definition for. I don't know. I mean, masculinity to me is a certain way that like a guy acts within society, like the way he moves and certain things like that in certain situations. And I mean, it can even be an emotional type of thing, like how you express yourself. But I don't know. I feel like it's different for each guy, and culturally too, because it's like, there's a whole thing about like Caribbean parents versus like American parents, and like black parents versus white parents. Like you watch TV shows like Wife Swap, and they'll be like, oh, my dad's gone working all day. It's like he doesn't care about me. But like Caribbean households, it's like it's like
right.
It's like real talk. I can go like a couple days without seeing my dad because our work schedules are like completely opposite.
Right.
Nobody's tripping about anything. And it's like, oh, what's going on, Dad? What's up, son? It's like keep it pushing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like masculinity means different things to be different people, and like different culturally. To me, it's the way a guy acts with society, with his friends, with his family, and just like how he moves through life. And my masculinity might be different than yours. Like, I can't grow a beard, but Kevin can grow a beard, so there's some differences there. It's different.
So your masculinity falls into appearance?
I mean, in some senses, yeah, because some guys, it's like, it's like, for some people, that's a grooming thing. So it's like, why do you groom yourself so well? It's like, why do you groom yourself so poorly? So it's just like, some people be all rough for no reason, but it's like, low-key, you looking at me hating because it's like, I don't have all that, like,
right.
I don't know.
Because I feel like as women, too, sometimes the smaller guys will kind of be like, he don't know what to do with me.
Over, yeah.
Yeah, it's because of that. And he may be... I didn't even... That definitely wasn't towards you. I'm just saying.
I mean, Kev, we can get you
But,
right.
It's cool.
you
got
know,
toxic masculinity.
That's
We can get you
that's
right,
what
Kev.
society says.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
just
society says.
putting that out there.
Hey, that's why.
Told you, give your year to get your muscles up.
That's why I built myself up the way I have. I don't have no girl look at me and say, "Oh, he can't handle me." It's like, bet.
That's
cool.
not Wakanda.
It's cool. That's cool. We be overlooked. It's
good.
Cool. It's cool.
I am good on this side.
I think for me, masculinity is more so of how you are taking care of yourself, as far as like how society plays and tells us like how a man should act or how a woman should act. It's like if you are following these guidelines, then yes, you are masculine. But if you're not, then it's just like you can't necessarily like they're feminine, but you aren't necessarily saying that they're not masculine. I don't know if you guys get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's just like for me, like Japay said, there's no dictionary like definition I can give. But for me, for a guy who is masculine, like someone who's able to take care of me, as the same way I'm able to take care of you.
Right. That's understandable. Let's see. For me, I feel like it's a guy that's able to be himself, but also like allow me to be myself. Like, I don't mind you being big, bad, and tough and all of that, but also knowing when to change and when to be able to be sensitive and to open up about your feelings and to not be so closed inside. I feel like that's what defines a man, because he doesn't, because he's crying, that doesn't make him any less of a man. It's him being true to himself.
Yeah, because I see like a lot of times society portray is like a man shouldn't show his sleeve. He shouldn't be crying. He shouldn't be showing any emotion. But it's just like the more emotion that a guy shows, to me, I feel like he's more masculine because he's more in tune to who he is. He's more in tune to himself.
Yes.
I know you may think like, oh, a girl's gonna be like, he's feminine or he's weak or whatever. But at the same time, it all depends on how a woman sees those roles. If a woman is saying like, oh, I want to stick to these guidelines that society has given to me and that's it, I'm not willing to change my mind, then that's on her part and that's her loss. Because now a woman who's like open-minded to seeing other sides of the spectrum, she's going to be able to get the full, complete man. She's not going to give the half man that he's giving.
It's
Oh, preach! Hold on, I'm just gonna have to high five.
Kevin, you wanna?
Oh no, I was just gonna confirm what Trish was saying. Basically, it goes down this to show you that everybody has their own idea of what masculinity is.
That's true.
And there's not one finite set idea of what masculinity is, because as DePay said earlier, it changes across cultures. Mm-hmm. So yeah, like as she was saying before, she was saying that a man sometimes doesn't feel comfortable showing their emotions.
Yeah.
That's a thing about American culture. I'm just gonna say American culture, where a guy is not allowed to experience the emotional spectrum. They only can be stoic.
Right.
And I feel like you're a human before you're a man.
Exactly.
And as a human, you are an emotional being. So for you to say that I cannot be sad or something of that nature, you're just you're limiting my human experience.
Right. Exactly.
That's how I feel.
I can rock with that. I don't know. For me, like I hear you. I understand exactly what you're saying. But there are certain things I don't know. Like as far as the whole emotional spectrum, I'm either in a good mood or I'm in a bad mood. And a bad mood is angry. Like, Baleski can attest to this. Like, sometimes I'm not as patient as I should be.
Who's Baleski?
She's the other member of our Broken Panel podcast, and she's also my girlfriend. So you might hear her reference every once in a while. So I don't know. Like my emotional spectrum isn't that broad. Like I'll get angry before I start crying. I don't really. I'm not.
Have you practiced like broadening your?
Have you explored your emotions?
Like crying.
I mean,
but you don't have to cry. But that's the thing. I don't. It's like it's either. It's like for guys.
Man, you
it's
could
either,
come to my house anytime.
Right.
If anything is going on, man, you could come to me, bro.
But why is it always that two-way street? It's either you're crying or you're not crying. Like, showing your emotions doesn't necessarily mean you have to cry.
I'm not a crier. Like just by nature. By nature.
I mean,
like even
I'm
when
not a crier either, but still, I know how to express my emotions without tears,
without crying.
I mean, like. Usually it's just I'm frustrated in general, so I'm just upset. It's not even like, oh, that's like I'm sad, but I want to be mad. It's more or less just like, really? Like it's like,
oh, that's what you're doing.
It's like, it's not even like a, how could you? How dare you? It's like a, oh, word, like.
So he's happy or confused.
Like, that's pretty much that's pretty much it. Like, I don't know. I feel like that might be a society thing, but I feel like that's more or less just the way I am. Because nobody's ever told me, "Oh, you're a boy. You shouldn't be crying." Like, what? Pick your face up. But it's just like nobody. But then again, I've never been like, like super emotional. Even like when I was a little kid, like when you're a kid, of course, you cry about stuff because you don't know how to process things.
Yeah.
But it's like, you cry with your fist balled kind of thing, like that kind of cry. Like, not like a...
not the whooping.
Not coming out.
I mean,
it's
those
the huff and puff and cry. Okay, I got you.
The snot coming out your nose is after a whooping. Like, one time my dad ran upstairs and beat my brother so fast, that room's never been so silent in his whole life. That was one of those... Okay, that was a sad cry. That was a sad cry.
Okay, all right.
Got me with that.
Okay.
I'm going to try to reach over here. Let's see. How do you think culture contributes to masculinity? That's so funny because we're just on that.
We segued into that.
Right.
I don't know. I mean.
Oh, who's going first?
Trish, popcorn.
Oh, okay. What was the question again? Sorry.
How does culture?
Just go in a little triangle right here.
All right. Let me see. I feel like culture, in a sense, where just like how we said it's social constructed masculinity. So it's to the point where it's just like we have these binary spectrum where like a man should be acting like this. He has to be stoic. He has to be strong. He has to be the head of the household. Where a female, she has to be soft. She has to be feminine. She has to be meek compared to the man. She has to be inferior to him. Mm-hmm. And I feel like in the past, yes, we've seen it exemplified where it's actually been laws where women have to stay home. They're not allowed to work or whatever. And nowadays, we're actually changing that script. We're changing the... we're rewriting the whole construction of what it means to be a man, what it means to be a woman. And I actually like that because just like it's giving everybody the opportunity to enjoy their life experience. It's giving people the chance to experience different things that they weren't able to experience in the past.
Right. I feel like that too. I feel like, especially because of the fact that for so long, women, it's always been against us. Anything we did, whether, dressing a certain way or working a certain place, it's like, but now since the times has changed, It's like women are allowed to be themselves. But then on the opposite side of that, like as far as culture, I used to have a really big, how do I say this?
Just come on and say it.
I'm trying to be like, how do I say this?
Politically correct.
I had a big thing against Haitian men for a long time because growing up in a Haitian household and how I felt like my father was with my mother, if that was what marriage was, or if that was what being in a relationship was, I know that I didn't want it. Because my parents were so petty to the point, like, we're both in the kitchen. You're in the kitchen. I'm in the kitchen. You're in the kitchen. You're my mom. You're my dad. Taika, dito to sado. I'm like, we're not in the same room.
Putting you in the middle.
So y'all don't hear each other when I'm going back and forth. Like, so I've had that. That's what culture. I'm like, if that's how Haitian men are, they're stubborn. They don't speak. They don't communicate. You know, we have this whole thing, especially on social media. Haitian men don't cheat, quote unquote.
No, that's a fact.
We do not.
That's
We
a-
do
that's a
not.
fact.
We do
All
not.
right, no problem.
We do
All
not.
right, so
Oh my gosh, I feel so
My
attacked.
views has changed as I've gotten older, as I have experienced it. 2 years ago, I did date my first Haitian guy. Some of the things didn't change, but I was able to brighten my horizon and open up to that. And because somebody would talk to me and be like, I'm Haitian, but I don't talk to Haitians.
Wow, you discriminating your own people,
Just
huh?
like that. But he was so persistent. He was just so persistent. And I was
That's
just like,
the
okay,
Haitian
fine.
way.
I might as well.
All
Wow,
right.
you missing out on the whole other side.
No, I learned now. I know the side. I know
But
the
it's
side.
just like now you got to experience that firsthand
Right.
as opposed through your parents. So
That's
now it's
true.
like you understand what it means to date a Haitian man.
Exactly. And it doesn't even have to be like that was my own ignorance, honestly, because Spanish men have their own thing, Jamaican men have their own
Yeah.
thing, and it doesn't change. It's just the fact that since that was my first views of a relationship, I was just like, nah, this ain't it.
I honestly feel like as growing up older, like when you were a child, the relationship that you have with your parents kind of defines what are the roles as far as culture goes. What are the roles for
Right.
masculinity and femininity?
Exactly.
Those are the two things, like the first examples that you have. So I think it also plays not only culture but also plays onto your parents. Like how
Right.
are they raising you? How do they interact with each other?
Right, because for me, like my mom would always say, "N'gon réponse pour tout bail."
Yeah.
Like I always have a comeback for everything. So I'm like, if being with a Haitian man means that I can't say what I have to say, I can't do it.
Yeah. You don't want
Because I can't do that. I have to say what I have to say. It's gonna kill me. Like if you do something to me, I can't. I have to say what I gotta say.
I feel you on that one. 'Cause
Yeah.
That's how the same way with me. Because like I'm the youngest, so like for my brother, he would get away with anything. So if I ever say anything like point out what my brother's doing, I would get to be the one in trouble. So I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand. Can
Right.
you explain it and make it make sense for me? Because it's not making sense. It's not until I started getting older that my mother she's learned to like process and understand and be more opening as to more like when I speak to her, she understands. It's not like she's just shutting it down. She's
Right.
actually speaking. So I feel like with that connection with my mom it's grown, and it's allowed me to grow as a woman and myself and more develop like who I am as a woman in society.
That's good.
Okay. All right. So, how does culture contribute to masculinity? I think it boils down to that nature versus nurture debate. As a kid, I believe those are your most formative years. I feel like everything you learn from like age 2 to like age 8, those will be cemented into how you how you'll operate in life. I feel like society and culture feeds you a lot of gender roles. I would like to say those are the
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
and it's kind of hard to come out of that once you've solidified that's how you're going to operate in this world. Growing up, I tend to feel like people can't ever think differently from how they were raised, and for that reason alone, they will repopulate and will teach it to the next generation. So things don't
It's just
ever
like a cycle.
things
Yeah.
don't ever truly change, because what I learned as a kid is what I'm gonna force my son to learn in terms of masculinity, to be feminine. I would teach that to my daughter based on how I grew up.
Right.
So it's just a cycle. That's how I feel like culture affects masculinity.
Kind of hit it. I mean, there's nothing else I can say to that. It's just like what you see is what you are, and what you see, even if you don't want it to be, it's low key how you're gonna be. Even in like not to the extreme, like if your whole family's alcoholics, but if you break away from your family, it's like you have the tendency to repeat some things, like
Right.
you know, whether it might not be alcoholism, but it's like you might like
Have
really
those
dive
traits.
deep into something like addictive tendencies and stuff like that. But side notes, but I don't know, what you see is what you will be, like regardless of what you want it to be or not. Like
I don't necessarily think like what you see is what you're gonna be.
I don't think so too.
I think there's going to be some extreme life event that's going to cause you to change what you've seen and what you've learned. So like how you said that alcoholism, two people can grow up in the same house with a father who's alcoholic, but one would become alcoholic and one would decide, I never want to touch alcohol because I've seen that process. So I think it's also about how you, like your perception on life and your perception of who you want to be.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah, it could just flip you to the opposite direction too. So it's like someone with a really like a parent who's like really bad to their mom, like they might be the best husband ever because it's like, I see what you did to my mom.
Exactly.
I'm gonna do the opposite of that. So it's like you could end up winning from it, or sometimes you could just repeat your cycle. It's all dependent on the person. So
That's true.
for masculinity, if you don't like your dad, you're not gonna be like your dad. Point blank. I like my dad. So.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Basically, how do you? For me, the reason why I said as you grow up, the culture contributes to masculinity. I feel like as you grow up, you take in what you see. Monkey see, monkey do. But yeah, like I said, you really can't move away from what you've learned unless you make a cognitive decision to. But outside of that, you're just gonna repeat the cycle. That's how I feel.
Oh, who's turning it?
I think it's mine.
I don't even know.
I don't know.
I was just
We're
passing.
going. Oh, okay. What do you think children should be taught about masculinity? I guess I'll go first on this one since I opened it and read it. What should I teach my kids about masculinity, or what should they be taught? I don't know. I mean, like, some parents don't like to, like, you know, set lines and kind of just keep everything kind of blurred and fluid. That's cool if the kids like.
That's cool if it meets your standards.
Yeah. But it's like, I don't ever want to set my kids up to be like, oh, like, Dad, I didn't know this wasn't for me to wear. Like, this is like, like, I don't want to say anything that's like super duper offensive. I want to try and keep politically correct, but like, if my kid doesn't know a dress is necessarily a dress, like they don't know what it is, like they just picked up an article of clothing, and to them it just looks like a really long shirt.
Right.
If you think that's a long shirt, that's cool, and you don't know, but like once you know what it is, and I tell you what it is, like, and I tell you that's not for you or whatever, like,
why is it not for him?
Because I don't want to send you to school. I don't want to send you to school to get picked on and bullied and beat up.
And he's fine.
And I don't care if you got hands or not. Like,
I don't care if you got hands or not.
There are certain
Punchline.
There are certain things I'm just not gonna let you do as a child. Like, once you're older and you want to feel like you really must do this and make these decisions, but after a certain point, I can't stop you from doing anything. But I want to set groundwork.
I don't want them to get in tune with who they are and their feelings and.
Like, feelings is one thing, but like clothing is another. So if we're talking,
that's how they feel.
But if we're talking masculinity, they have to know what's one and what's the other. Like, where there's masculinity, where there's femininity, where there's dark, there's light. Like, I have to kind of give them lines and show them that there's both sides.
So you want them to fall into the
I don't need them.
construct.
I don't need to follow. I don't need them to
said
follow.
that's not what I was. If I some
He said
what's masculine, what's feminine.
he's just defining what is masculine.
know
what
what
is
it is.
feminine.
His
Exactly.
definition.
Yes.
You're
He's just define. Hey, let me help you define what is masculine and what is feminine. Hey, if you want to do that, just know that that's not masculine.
Yeah,
that's
like,
basically what he's saying.
Yeah,
Okay.
like
That's
you got to
saying.
know what you're doing, and like I want to set an example. So it's like I don't need my kids to be little mini me's, but it would be cool because then we could work out together.
We don't need
but
more.
anyways,
We don't need more.
But like I want to set them on a path where it's like, number one, you're not gonna get beat up, bullied in school, or like extra stuff that you just shouldn't have to go through at like 6 years old because nobody told you that's kind of not for you yet or at all, depending on how you live your life. But I just want to set standards and set lines, and the best masculinity I can teach you is that of my own. I don't know anything else besides what I know. So, moral of the story: I'm not really gonna let my kid wear a dress. That's a no for me.
Negative.
Dang, man.
Went
Not
0 to
open-minded.
100.
I'm not.
You're
no.
not open-minded.
Okay.
I
Wow.
see it. No.
Wow.
Blame it on that.
All right.
I think for me, like, are we going based on like what am I teaching my daughter what is masculinity, or what am I teaching my son what is masculinity?
Both.
Oh, that's a
Both.
good
Because
question.
You
Why
don't
is it
know.
different, Trish?
Because-
No. Oh yeah.
Didn't we
it
just just have a
If we're
conversation
going into that, if we're
about.
going into that,
She
it
just
matters.
wanted. She was just
I
clearing
need
the
to
air.
specify.
Relax,
She just said
relax.
kids, children, I don't know.
So your daughter can't wear Timbs and like
She can wear Timbs
and a
whenever she
basketball
wants. I don't care.
jersey
She better be breaking ankles on the court. That's all I need to
in
know.
Timbs.
Yeah,
She'll,
I was
she'll
about to
snap
say,
her own
She ain't dunking. She's not dunking with Tim's.
steel toe boots.
As far as teaching my son what is masculinity, obviously it's treating the opposite sex with, well, both of them is just treating the opposite sex with respect. For my son, what masculinity is, I think personally I probably would fall into the social construct, just like the base says, just like that's what I know. But I would teach him more so to be in tune with their emotions, like express what you're feeling as opposed to bottling up inside or getting mad and try to punch a hole in the wall. Like I've heard so many kids say, so many guys say that they've done that, and when they're younger, I'm just like, that doesn't make sense. I don't understand why are you breaking stuff.
I've never.
Why?
I never broke my
But
stuff because I knew it was
Haitians
mine.
don't
I'm like,
talk.
no, that's my
That's
stuff.
the thing. Haitians don't have those conversations,
really
so
don't.
they don't know
So I've been
what else
practicing
to
that with
do.
my mom.
You
I've
just fig-
honestly practiced that with my
you
mom, and
figured
it's
out on your
gotten
own.
better.
Yeah,
She's
you
more
do as-
open with that.
Oh, I
But I
don't talk
think
to my
that
dad
also
about
comes
nothing.
with age.
True.
Because you couldn't do that when you was like
No, I
15,
was. I didn't
14.
care.
She would be like,
I was the youngest one, so my mom's old, so at the time,
Wow.
I was the youngest one, so she was already like broken
Yeah,
down.
she was
So I
already like,
I can do what I want.
Okay.
Must be nice.
Yeah, seriously, I'm
the
the
oldest
first
over
one.
here.
Yeah, same.
The oldest over
yeah,
here.
the
We
oldest
got the
over
whoopings.
here. Yeah,
We ain't
on my mom's side.
What? I had the
What?
word down from my brother. You know, he got to play football right off the jump. I had to miss most of spring conditioning and everything. I spent weeks arguing no brand cleats. My brother, you want to join the team? Okay, here's some Nike cleats. You want gloves? You want sleeves? You want everything? I'm like, I didn't even get no equipment out here.
But as far as for my daughter, teaching her what is masculinity, it's obviously teaching her like how a man's supposed to be treating you and how a man's supposed to treat someone else. Like as
Straight
far
up.
as respect for you, don't let him like downgrade you or disrespect you. And you need to understand like, yes, it's nice if he takes care of you, but it's not the ideal. Don't let that be like the main goal. Like he has to take care of you.
You're not
'cause
an
you have to be
invalid.
able to have your own.
Oh, yes.
You need to be
Very true.
have your own
Independent
autonomy.
yourself, right?
I feel like, okay, I feel like
Just
that-
say it, Kev. Just go
Nah,
ahead.
Just say
see,
we're
'cause
letting
I've
the
thought about
political
that
stuff
a lot of
go.
times. I don't believe in the masculinity, femininity, or whatever, or whatever. In terms of like, I think you're going along the lines of being able to provide for yourself.
Yeah.
I just think that's an alpha trait that everybody should have.
Regardless of the gender.
Yeah,
okay.
regardless of the gender. I have a little sister or whatever. I think I raised my little sister to be kind of like a little
A mini Kev.
Like she's not girly. Like I there's some feminine traits that I just don't.
You can't teach. It's not in you.
No, it's not even that. It's
You
just
don't agree with?
yeah. There's some feminine traits that I just don't agree with.
Okay.
That you
Like
don't want to expose her to.
yeah, I don't want her to fall in line with this beta mentality that she's going to find a guy to come and take
Sweep
care of
off
her,
her feet.
I got
and
you.
she'll let you know that she's not interested in any of that. She wants to see how far she can go in this world on her own name, and I think that's just an
That's
alpha
dope.
trait. Yeah.
You're a
Yeah.
good big brother, Kev.
I agree with you on that. But if he wants to treat me, I'm not
Oh
gonna.
my
I'm gonna
God.
listen. If you
No, that's
want to do
true.
that, if that's what you want to do, and I've already told you from the jump, I don't want you providing for me, and you consistently say I want to provide for you, I'm gonna let you because that's your decision. My decision was never to take it from me in the first place.
Just
But
don't
if
make
you're
me the food
consistent
guy.
And persistent, then
Why you
alright
can't be
then.
the food guy? The food guy's a favorite.
No, he's
I just
not.
want you
Food
guys
guy
to
don't
know.
get
He's
respect. He
not.
doesn't
Yeah.
even get the
Food-
name
but
in the
listen,
phone.
All
the
he is,
food-
all he
it's
is,
food
But
food
he's
guy.
the
He can get
favorite.
emojis. He
But
can
he's
get
the
all the food emojis.
favorite, and you gonna answer every time. You answer every
Listen,
time
the
because
No,
you
you
know
don't.
the food is
Wait till
coming.
You
girl
answer
farts
when
through
you're
her
hungry.
stomach.
That is
No.
a simp.
I answer.
That is a simp.
No, food guy gets answered
You
all
text
the time.
you text him when you're hungry, and
No,
he goes home
I text
early.
in the morning. I
If you're
text in
only
the
talking to a
morning.
girl when there's only food in the area,
Yeah,
you
you a
are the
problem.
food
You are a
guy and you are a
problem.
simp.
Okay,
Also,
I get
clearly,
happy
y'all
with
got
food,
some
okay?
food guy feelings.
I
You in a
am not.
relationship, so
I ain't never been a
really
food guy.
can't-
Straight up.
Wait.
I don't. Straight
He
up.
said, "Don't even put that in."
I break.
Don't
Hey,
put that on
Please,
my
I
all
don't.
the exes come to the
I-
poll. We need.
Nope. I don't break nothing off until we exclusive, serious. I won't buy nothing until we like talking and it looks the right
You might
way.
trick you, you don't even know.
Right.
Nope, I don't want to be. Oh, we ain't really said nothing. We ain't set no dates. I ain't even ask you if we going out. I'm not breaking off nothing until I know you and me is you and me, and not you, me, and the team on the side waiting to switch it for rotation. Nah, get the team to feed you, not me.
Oh,
What?
But what if you don't know you're in rotation though?
Oh,
Exactly.
no. I don't play games.
Look, if my bank statements look like I'm in a relationship, if it looks like I'm in a relationship, and then I look up in the mirror and I'm like, I'm not in a relationship.
But whose fault is that?
The guy. That means you're a simp.
Yeah.
You're a simp.
Hey,
If he
that's
wants
the
to
point.
consistently say, oh,
No, he didn't want to. He
Yeah,
found
yeah.
out.
No,
He found
if
out.
I tell you from the jump, like, I don't want you to pay for myself, I have my own money, and you can just say, oh, I want to pay for you, or you just trying to pay for me, I'm going to let you. I'm going to let you do that because that's what you want to do.
You gonna let him be a simp?
Yo,
He
No,
decided.
that's him
That was
playing
his
position.
watch him fall and just watch him get back up.
No.
Every time.
They get
Every
back up.
time.
It's no problem.
It's okay.
My
They're the
pockets
favorites.
don't though.
They
It's a
top-
lot of
they
Rob
have-
What you mean?
Kardashians. in
But
that
that's your
Checks and bills be hitting, and then you're another bill.
That's
Oh man, she ain't eat
you.
yet today. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, movies,
one. Amen.
and then I still go home early with just a handshake.
That's your choice.
Nah.
Who's picking
Wild.
Nah.
next.
Kevin, yeah, it's your turn
Is my turn to talk or my turn to pick up?
I think it's
pick.
your turn to pick.
From the
In
bowl.
there, from the
Kevin.
bowl, the ones
Okay.
outside.
Golly.
Okay. All right. All right.
You about to popcorn me.
Don't come to my house. All right. How has society view of men changed since you were a kid? Oh, that's easy. It didn't.
I was just about to say.
It didn't. Like I said, it's a cycle. I personally see it in sitcoms. I watch a lot of 70s, 80s, 90s sitcoms. It's the same role every decade. Ain't nothing changed. How it was in the 90s, that's how it is in the 2019. So
I feel like it's
Yeah.
changed. It's the commercials. Like, for example, there's a Target commercial where there's two women having a baby.
Mm-hmm.
There is other, like, the girls out here playing football from the NFL, from
you
the
said
Super
view of
Bowl.
men.
Yeah, but I'm thinking because the way I'm saying that is because of the fact that if they're showing views of women,
Mhm.
then they're also showing views of men in other ways. Like, I know you guys see more transgender things. I know you guys see more of guys coming out and being comfortable and being okay with that. Like, I feel like that allows.
I feel like we're trying to push the agenda these days,
Yeah.
but I don't think nothing has changed.
You really don't think so?
It's a force. It's
No.
a square in a
I
round
feel
circle.
like people are more open to it. It may not be 100% change, but I feel like people can instead of sending people off to asylums and completing cutting them off and sitting here being like that's crash, people are like.
You said since we were a kid. I'm
I
trying.
know,
I'm
but
trying.
I'm saying
I'm trying to.
since we were a kid, but now it's like people are more. They're like, okay, this doesn't really affect me 100%. This doesn't really hurt me 100%.
For me, I'm just
You
like,
get what I'm saying?
I see like the old generations like heck no, it's completely
It's
off.
not
the table.
happening.
But
That's
I
off the
see
table.
like as far as like okay, two men being together, two women being together, that's off the table. But for me, I see it as like I've actually took the time to think it through. I was like, their relationship doesn't affect me.
It doesn't.
It has nothing to do with me.
At
If you want to
all.
show love, go ahead. I don't care. Do what you gotta do.
Right.
I mean, because like at the end of the day, if you see a heterosexual couple together, are you affected? Like, how does that affect
It
your day to day?
doesn't.
It doesn't.
That's a lot of topics.
It doesn't.
then.
And then as
Yeah.
far as like the masculinity changing, like the view of masculinity changing, I think it has changed a little bit because now you see sometimes you'll see the stay-at-home dad where the
Yes.
woman is going to work.
Yes.
Exactly.
And guys
I
are
mean-
more open to that too now.
With the whole stay-at-home dad thing, I think that's guys just finessing the system because
I'm
it
done.
used to be the ain't nothing dads.
I'm
It used to be the
done.
ain't nothing dads. It's like he don't got no job. All he do is stay at home. He figured, you know what? I can do my same nothing as long as I clean up once in a while, order some food, pump fake and look like I cooked it. Once in a while, cook some mac and cheese.
I'm done.
Kids' diapers clean, and I can still stay at
I feel
home.
like DePay has a future plans already set
I
in motion.
see.
I'm gonna be at the gym at night, at home during the day.
Oh my god.
Already set in motion, huh? Okay.
I don't know, but I feel like it wants to change, but it doesn't change. It's like a rubber band. Certain things like change, but it always snaps back in a sense. Like
Oh, I
like with the
that.
sitcoms, like it's like yeah, it gets progressive because it's like maybe the racist jokes are way deeper because they don't go away. It's not gonna go away.
Yeah.
Right.
They get deeper. They get buried. You might see a black guy with a white girl or vice versa, and it's like wow, this show is really progressive. But is it really?
Nah.
Right.
It's not. They
It's
just added
been
vanilla ice
happening.
cream into the ice cream machine. Like it's all the same thing.
This guy.
Like because it's like it's gonna change, but it's not really changing. Like you have to pay attention to how it's moving. Like
Okay.
certain things will be different, but the roles can still be the same. Like with the whole like transgender thing, like they still, I don't know, that one's a little bit trickier for me to make this example with. So with the whole like homosexual couples, like there's still certain things that they still face that would normally be because when they're not together, they're still like a guy and a guy. Like they still have their whole society rules.
Yeah.
Like it's more or less when they're the couple that we look at them differently. But a lot of times, if you pay attention, because I'm around people a lot between work and whatever, they are still whatever like normal gender role throughout most of the day. Like there might be some extras, a little bit of this and that, but it's like for the most part, they're still a guy like down through and through. So it's like they're still living out a lot of this stuff, especially when they're like low key and like they only tell you and a couple people because they're cool with it. This is still the same thing. So
You're still a guy at the end of the
yeah,
day.
it's like certain things are still the way they are. It's just like you got a little I don't know, there's a little sugar on this. That's about it.
Okay, we're gonna agree to disagree on that topic. The question is, we just spoke about this, but as the stigma has changed on women's role in society, do you feel like that's a negative or positive thing for guys?
Positive.
Why do you feel like it's positive?
Stay-at-home dad is cool now, number one.
Oh my gosh.
The
My
stay-at-home
dog lazy.
dad.
Number two, when you don't like your food, she'll bring it back for you because you don't want to seem too. Because a guy, like, you don't want to be too aggressive. You don't want to be too aggressive because I don't care what kind of guy he is. The guy who's like ready to tear down the whole whatever. Certain things we just don't even bother with because it's like, number one, I don't want this to come back and they're spitting my food. And sometimes it's just like, I don't want to fight this battle. I'm tired right now. I've been mad all day. I gotta relax.
Why you always mad?
It's one of two. It's one of two.
It's happy or confused.
It's one
remember?
and two. So it's like certain things like that's real cool. It's like, didn't you order this without that? Yeah, it's cool. I'll just push them to the side. No, hold on. Excuse me.
That's definitely
like that's
me,
boss.
Ma'am, I'm here with this.
That's
She wants
boss
to home the
stuff.
table.
Like I like
On his
that.
plate.
And like certain things, like some guys are uncomfortable with it, but it's like I'll let my girl talk. Like if we're going to a restaurant, she'll be like, "Oh, we have a table for such and such." Like some guys feel like, "Oh, like I made the reservation, I got to do this." Or it's like we came together. I'm the man of this. Let me speak. I don't care. You saved me like 2 breaths. Like it doesn't make me any less of anything. Like I'm still gonna hold your chair, open the door, do all this stuff. Like I'm still a man at the end of the day.
That's good.
It doesn't make any difference to me if you want to speak. Like I'm cool with you being vocal. I don't need you downplayed. Like I'm already like my size, my height.
Essentially, it's just like she's her own person.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's cool.
Okay.
And now I don't have to be personality for both of us because you're not dry. Like you can speak to me. We can have a conversation as opposed to, I don't know, but I think you're just big and strong. Like I understand that I'm like, I asked you how your day was. Like we need to have back and forth. And
Okay.
I like that when you're your own person.
I feel like it's a positive for guys, but it's a negabe for girls.
What do you mean?
Oh.
Because now it's like guys are not required to do as much. Like what guys out here paying bills? No, because the girls like I already got that.
Whoa.
You know, so it's kind of like it's like you could kick back and chill and just do your part. It's not necessarily as big as it used to be back in the day.
When you
'Cause
say
back-
paying
I don't know,
bills, what do
because
you
I
mean?
feel like if the girl has her own stuff, now he has to step his game up to impress her. Because now she's like, I pay my own bills. What else can you offer me?
But then there's the opposite. Like, well, she says she already do everything, so I'm just doing my role, whatever that may be, and we already know what that may be.
Stay at home dad.
This is a topic about gender roles. Essentially, you're saying that women are becoming a more force in this population.
Yeah, like we're doing the dang thing. Like,
Okay.
what are you guys
Okay.
doing now?
So
That's
wait.
like now it's like I feel like
Why can't we both do it? Why can't we both be alphas?
Kev, one time for the
Why-
culture.
Why can't we both
you-
be
you-
alphas?
we
Like
both
that.
can
Because-
be. We
no,
both can be, but sometimes with guys too, they feel intimidated by that.
Yeah,
there's
that's-
some
that's
guys
true.
that will step up and be like, okay, you got your, I'm gonna be 2.0. But then there's some guys like, oh no, she too much, because they feel like they don't have no control. They feel like there's nowhere that they could put their foot down.
No.
I feel like it all depends on how things are laid out. If you come up to me, like, before we even cool and everything, it's like, I got my own house, I got my own car, I pay all my bills, I don't need you for nothing. It's like, why are you even coming up to me? Why are we even talking? Like, you don't even give me place to be a person and say what I have.
Okay.
Like, it's like, if you came to me, it's just like, I'm a boss, this is that, I'm going to do what I'm doing. Ain't no room for no changing or nothing. If a guy comes to a girl like that, oh, I don't need him, he just hard-headed. So it's the same thing. Like, you got to have back and forth. And I have a question for you. So it's like, paying bills. What do you mean by paying bills? Because this is a good
Bills.
topic.
Bills are bills.
The thing about it is,
bills.
if I wasn't here, you're going to have to pay your own rent. Why is it that it's like,
Wow.
you going to pay
But
rent,
you're
and it's like,
here.
I'll pay for the...
What?
What? See?
You're here.
See?
What do you
That's,
mean? Like-
that's
So you
the
get to
thing.
relax?
Yeah, like,
No,
what do
you
you
mean?
You're
I
breathing
got
my
to-
air.
What?
You're using my water.
We
you're
breathing
in
the
my
both
Are you
water
guys
air.
living together, though?
Okay, yeah. Are we living together? Or are
Together.
you just coming over?
Together, married, you might even
Oh,
have
you
a
live
kid.
50. I believe even 50-50.
Alright.
Like,
well, it doesn't even have to
I
be.
believe
Yeah.
in 50-50.
Hey,
I do
it
believe
doesn't
in
even have to be
50-50. I'm not
50-50.
saying that he has to do everything, but I'm just saying he got to do something.
Okay,
That's
but
what
he
I'm
will
saying.
do.
Hey,
He will do
And that
something.
stay-at-home dad is not enough.
Hey,
That's
wait,
what I'm saying.
But
All your house is
stay-at-home-
clean, the groceries are
stay-at-home
bought.
mom is enough.
Okay,
Yeah.
because we do more. Yeah, do guys really clean?
Yes.
Are you surface cleaning or are you
Nah,
moving things
hey,
around?
you come to the house.
We know how to clean.
Spotless.
You know how, but you choose not
Why you
to.
stuttering?
We know
I'm
how-
saying you don't
We
you
know
don't
how
see.
we were raised in the same
You
houses
guys do
as you guys.
laundry.
Yes.
Yes, we were raised in the same. We have the same mother
Hey,
teaching us how
exactly.
to do things.
No, there's
But that's
one
that's
It's not like-
some.
it's
that's
not
our,
like-
that's our Haitian. Well, that's actually Caribbean culture, but I don't see it in
No,
other
because
cultures.
Caribbean culture, they let the boys don't have to do much.
I-
I'm gonna tell you, it might not be in your household, but I know there's some. The men do not have to clean as much. The girl has to wake up Saturday morning at 8 a.m. and
Yeah.
clean the whole house.
Were we
Yeah,
not
the
listening to
chicken-
those screaming in the
Okay,
morning
you're
too?
listening.
But
you
you're
get
not
to
doing
leave.
nothing.
You get to leave. I cannot leave the house until everything is done to have my
I'm
mother
And you just
Done.
get up, my moulin get the finish, spaghetti get the finish. You just go get your
I just
plate.
finish cleaning the bathroom. You go use a fresh, clean bathroom. I'm
And you
sitting
don't
there slaving.
care.
You gotta
don't
go.
care.
You gotta go.
You gotta go where?
To the bathroom.
Nah.
No.
I just
What am I supposed to
slave
do?
over the
Outside?
bathroom. Yes.
I gotta
just
hit the
slaved
yard?
on the bathroom.
I gotta hit
You
the
gotta
yard?
Go. I gotta be the first one to dirty, not you.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
you just finished. I'm waiting in line.
We're gonna go to the next question.
I don't know. I don't agree with you.
Oh, yeah. Who in your life shaped your view of masculinity? Ooh, that's a cool one. I mean,
TV,
I was just about to say,
internet,
and then family.
school.
Yeah, because I don't know. I went to school. Like, I went to Atlantic High School. Shout out to the Eagles. I
Yeet.
think we're the War Eagles now. I don't really care for all these changes. But anyway, I'm old. But
Where have I been?
it changed like a couple times.
Where have I been?
It changed a couple times.
Okay, all right.
But anyway, I don't know. For my view of masculinity, like Kevin said, like it comes from TV and pop culture and all that stuff before it comes from your family, or like at the same time. Because I watched a lot of TV as a kid, and it comes from like as you get older when you go to school, like middle school, kind of sort of, high school for sure.
Yeah.
Because you really like as a guy, it's like you're trying to get with people, you're trying to get like a girlfriend or just get with females, depending on how you were as a guy. So it's like you see what other dudes are doing. You want to be that dude who's like,
You're looking,
popular. You want to be
You're
that,
looking
yeah.
to somebody.
Exactly.
the it
And I don't know.
guy.
In some cases, that means being a hood dude, even if you're not a hood dude.
You know about that life.
And
There was a lot of those.
But you
in
gonna
high
go
school.
get your little bottom girl to fit
Yeah,
in, okay?
yeah, and then that also makes you change because once you go to college, there's really no space for hood
one-
dudes.
yeah.
You're
I
another
see
guy,
them,
so you
though.
gotta
Barely.
barely.
See them and I be like,
But you see them, they take their
okay.
goals out for class, or it's like they don't
Only
talk
time
much
you
in
They play
class, so they
behind
keep
the
it
scenes.
in.
When you guys have like events.
Events
Yeah.
at
You
night.
be like, oh, you
At
going?
night.
Because I have lame classes. All the social work people be like women. And then I get to
That's
criminal
how bio
justice
was.
classes. And I be like, oh, this is where the police officers at. Okay.
I feel like for me, who shaped my view for masculinity is probably my mother, my uncle, and most likely like my male cousins, because it's like I grew up in a single household parent. So with my mom, she kind of informed me, okay, what is it that you're supposed to be looking for when you are dating a man? And I seen how she raised my brother at the same way as that, and like my uncle, how he treated his wife. Like those are things like I looked forward to. Like you need to be respectful to me as my family, and you need to treat me how you would want to be treated yourself.
Right.
And that's just how I see it. For like, if I'm looking for, what am I looking for exactly in a man?
That's understandable. For me, it would be my older sisters because I feel like they're all married and they have a positive Haitian relationship. So that's how I view.
Wow.
ICNL 2019.
Haitian
I don't know
men.
about all that, but
We
you
don't
know.
cheat.
Haitian men.
We don't cheat. We treat you right.
Yeah,
What?
moving on. Would you like to answer?
No,
Oh.
I kind of answered in
Okay.
tandem with
I mean,
his.
alright.
I was like, entertainment today contributes to how we. I don't know. Essentially, as a guy myself, I look to TV, I look to school, I look to the internet. That was my propaganda. That's how I was force fed the gender roles. So that's.
Yeah. And
That's how I feel like most kids these days are raised.
And I can't stun my
Through
dad.
those mediums.
I have my dad, so I gotta. Dad, you there too? The only thing is, I'm not like my dad. I am a lot, but not exactly. Like my grandfather, his dad was like construction. my dad's mechanics, so they work with their hands. I wish I had that. Like, I can do certain things mechanically. Like, I can work on small stuff on my car, but like big things, I'm just like, it's broken. So it's like I kind of feel like I'm a disappointment in that aspect. So certain things I didn't look to my dad for, because it's like I wish I could have been more like you in that. Like, my dad's Creole is fire. Like, he can speak Spanish too. So I'm just like, thanks, Dad. I would have liked to know some of that. So it's like certain
work
things.
on your Creole first,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Dang, come on now.
So my dad is part of that influence, and my uncles and all that.
Right.
Didn't want to throw you guys
Okay.
out. You guys are here.
What you got, Trish?
Next question is, guys, do you feel pressured by society to be manly? Ladies, do you feel pressured to date a manly guy?
As a man, that is what I am. Yes, I'm positive.
Oh, okay.
That's a lace front beard.
Shut up, bro.
We gotta bring it to the beach
Um,
to see if it comes off.
Yeah, so yeah, guys do feel pressured to be manly because you're gonna get these jokes if you act any type of way.
Yeah.
Like,
Soft.
yeah, you gonna, oh my gosh.
Why is that an insult?
Because
It's the insult that you guys are doing, though.
Who's you guys?
It's
Is it your guy friends or is it
Women.
in front of women?
It's
as
women.
well?
It's I feel
Okay.
like it's women. Like, they'll be like,
Okay, I
oh,
have a part of that. I like to joke and play.
exactly, and
I'll say that. I can admit that.
it feeds into how you're supposed to act in
the
front of
toxic.
others. The toxic masculinity. That is the word that we're looking for.
Because you guys don't want him all tough and mean and mad and no emotions, but y'all made him that way.
I feel you on that. I
Y'all
would agree.
made
No,
him
I
that
would
Definitely.
agree.
Made him
I would agree
that
because
Wait a
way.
minute.
females, they would actually say things that makes the man have to be, like how the pay say, stoic and
Yes.
hard and like not soft,
He's not a person
moldable.
anymore. He
Because
just he's
if
just
you
a
do
rock.
one thing that they don't like, they'll be like, "Oh, you soft," or "You're such a girl," or some other variation of those words.
A
And
lot
it's
of
just like
variations
now
of
he
those
has
words.
to
What?
pretend like he's something that he's not, and he can't even show who he really is. Like how I said earlier, you're not gonna get the full complete guy because so much things of society is not allowing him to show his complete self.
You
Y'all
limited
y'all
his
broke him
human
off.
experience.
He's done.
Like I
Yeah.
said
I don't
before,
agree
you.
with that.
What do you?
What I think
Okay.
both men and
All right.
female play a role as to what a man should be. They pressure a man to be quote unquote manly.
You could
Okay,
go.
I
You
could
could go
understand
into the
that.
shade room comments and just watch
Yeah.
anything that a guy does that's quote unquote unmasculine or whatever. You're gonna see a field day of ladies just insulting,
Just
insulting
flames.
said
Straight flames.
said man. And I just feel like that's
They take his man
that
card away.
sucks. That's you, like.
But a guy who's confident in himself.
No. There's differences. And,
Yeah.
and if you don't like the dude, let's say he ugly to you, because I won't call nobody ugly. Let's say he ugly to you. He's sensitive. He in tune with his feelings.
No,
You
I'm
don't look
always
at him sideways.
respectful. No, I can attest to that.
I know
I
what you're
wanna
going for,
Okay.
but not everybody does that. What
Okay.
you are looking for a guy who actually expresses his full range of emotions,
right.
who is confident in how he moves throughout the day.
Right. That alone.
Not everybody sees the world like that. Some people walk out the house and feel
Well, I'm
as
sensitive.
if
Sensitivity is my superpower. So
Okay, yes.
I guess
a
that's
lot
what
of
it is.
guys today feel like they aren't allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And they feel like they're gonna get these jokes if they don't portray what society has told them to be.
But that's on you.
Okay. That's what I'm
not
saying.
exactly.
Because it
can
goes
be
back
if
to
you choose
you
not-
being
if you
confident
say,
in
"Oh,
yourself.
I
It is-
am,"
it is a choice.
You're
Exactly.
confident.
It is
You're
a-
confident in yourself. Like, oh, I don't care what you say because this is me. I'm not gonna allow you to limit who I am, how I'm experiencing this human experience.
The
If
question
you make
was
that decision.
the question was, do you feel pressured?
Okay.
Okay,
The
I
answer
didn't.
is
Yes, the question is, do you feel pressured? And I'm saying that guys do feel pressured. Now, if you want to say, forget what society thinks, and you're gonna be your own person, that's a decision you made. But the pressure is still there. It still
Okay.
was there. That's what I'm trying to say.
I feel like that's an age thing too, because when you're little, it's like you want to make friends first. It's like, oh, you said I'm soft. Oh, hold on, like let me go punch Jimmy in the face right quick, and that'll change that. So it's like when you're small, you got to build your base of friends.
Oh,
as you
you're
get
small.
as you get older, it's like I don't care. Like I got my homeboys I know for a long time, and even as an adult, when you're a smaller guy. Like, I notice this all the time when you go to the club. Small guys are the first guys to try and step to you, even though it's like I can pick you up and toss you out the door with one arm. They're the
It's
first
that
guys to,
confidence.
like they barking at you in the face. Big
They're the
dudes,
chihuahuas.
keep it chill. Like, they just vibe. They go through
I
it. Doesn't
can
matter.
admit
So
that.
it all depends, like, on the guy. But for me personally, I live out a lot of those stereotypes unknowingly. Like, I don't know. I like to lift weights. I kind of like to fight. Not like by choice, but if it comes to me, like I'll welcome
If the
it.
opportunity presents
Yeah,
itself.
I'll welcome
You're
it.
gonna rise.
I don't know.
Okay.
I like muscle cars. I like trucks. I like I
mean,
like
but that's
You're the
what you
sports.
typical
like.
guy.
But if
Yeah,
that's what
like
you like,
it's
then
what I
it's
like.
you
So
like.
it's never been like I have to be masculine. I mean, like in terms of emotionally, like I guess certain things, but it's to the point now it's suppressed enough, and like certain things are dead. Like
Why
I
are you
can't.
killing these things?
I try. Like I'll work through it. Like and sometimes I'll have like realizations. Like dang, that's like I'm really not upset. It's more or less like a something else. So it's like it takes time to relearn, but it's like you can't just come out all soft in the beginning. Like sometimes you have to like chip the wall away gradually. You can't just come off. I'm open with my feelings because not everybody's gonna respect that. Some people will, but it's like to play it safe, you got to just stay in that
There you
mode
go.
first. Yeah.
Okay,
All
that's
right, what about you,
understandable.
Ty? Do you feel pressure to date a manly guy?
I used to. I'm not gonna lie. Only because when I used to be bullied. So when I was back in middle school, I got bullied and stuff like that. Then I started dating like the most popular guy in school. So he stopped that.
Okay.
So for that reason, I felt like in order for me not to be bullied or in order for me not to experience certain things, I had to be with somebody who was like manly. And he was like from the hood, the goals, the tattoos. And I knew that at the end of the day, he was going to protect me. So from like, because I dated him from middle school to high school, that was what I perceived as somebody that's going to keep me safe, somebody who was like that. But then as I got older, my views changed and I started to, learn and explore because I was with that person from like 12 to 18, 19. So
That's another thing that puts a lot of pressure on us dudes because it's like if you're not a hood dude, you soft. I'm like, yo,
right.
like
but
I'm
gotta do
now,
this
back
way.
in the day, hood dudes was cool. Now it's like, I don't got
I mean,
time,
like
I'm
in a lot of
scared.
circles, in a lot
I'm
of
scared.
circles.
Don't call me. I will tell on you. I'm not going to jail.
Listen, I'm not holding no burner for
No,
nobody
no
like
holding
that.
nothing
Ain't
down.
no ride or dies in this
no,
world.
Oh, no,
man.
baby,
No ride or dies.
No, not
Why
at
do I
all.
have to die? Where are we going? Where are we going?
Hey, you're
on
not a
the
real
ride?
one, Trish. You're
Drop
not a
me-
rider,
hey,
man.
drop
Come
me
on.
off, drop me off.
Hey, just hold the bag for me one time, man.
No.
We
Hold
out
my
here.
bag. Oh, my
Who
valise is
did
right
you
here.
understand?
Hey,
They're not
hey,
gonna-
it's bread in that bag. Just hold the bag.
Food?
It's
Nah.
They're
bread.
not
I'm
gonna
good.
check you like they're gonna check me. Just
Yeah,
hold the
for real.
bag.
Hey,
I'm good.
Hey, just hold this for me right quick. I'm coming to the house. I'm gonna hold something for me. Hold something for me.
It'll be at the front for you, okay? I feel like I don't feel like as for me personally, I don't feel pressurized to date a manly guy because for me it's just like if I like you, I like you. That's it. I'm not gonna allow someone else's decisions or someone else's opinion influence my decisions because me, I literally had to teach myself in a way to like think for myself and don't allow other people's thoughts to like enter into mine. So I had to discern what's my thoughts and what other people's thoughts are.
That's an
So
alpha
I've
trait.
learned that when I do date or when I am pursuing someone, it's what do I like? How do I feel? What is this person's action? How do they make me feel? How does it make me feel?
That's good.
I have a question for both the ladies here. Like, you guys are all cool with like sensitive guys and all this kind of stuff. I feel like body type plays a very important part in this because a bigger guy, like let's say he's big, swole, whatever, if you like him like a little bit more meat on his bones kind of thing, can get away with being more sensitive. The smaller and the shorter he gets, the less room he has to be sensitive because think about it like this. You got this huge dude, like you already feel safe. He's already got all that protecting energy
I
on
don't
him.
like that stuff.
But if
You
he's
don't.
small,
Nah, I'm
like
not too scared.
how tall are you?
I'm
Scared.
scared. I'm 5
How-
feet.
If he's the same height as you and he's sensitive, like I'm talking like he's in tune with his feelings. It's not to the point where you're embarrassed, but it's like, let's say a situation goes
okay,
down.
baby,
He's,
don't do that in public.
see? There you go.
Don't do that in
There
public.
you
We're going
go.
to talk about it when we get home,
There
baby.
you
It's
go.
all right. It's all right.
I'm waiting for Ken to
Wait,
snap on you.
I feel offended. I don't think that should have went down like that. He's a smaller guy. Bigger guy, oh, baby, it's
No,
okay. Don't worry about it.
no,
But he got
even-
more room. He's got more room for these kinds of things.
No, he
Kev,
doesn't. Listen, you're
No,
gonna
he
catch his
doesn't.
attitude one
Y'all
way or
lost
another.
me.
Right.
Kev.
Y'all lost
If
me.
we're at eye level or if you're above eye level, you're gonna
It's
catch
gonna be the same
See?
energy. Yeah,
The
I don't
same
feel like I'm
energy
gonna
getting that.
change. But I'm just saying, for him
Subconsciously,
to
though.
protect him, I would just be like,
See, you
we're not gonna
protecting
do
him
this.
now. You got to protect him
We're
now.
not gonna do this.
You might stay with him,
out
but he
here,
lost a peg. He
but
lost
we're
a
gonna
peg.
do it in the house.
He's
but
down
that's
a
just
step.
that's just how I feel respectfully.
Like, is he crying in public? Like,
I mean,
yeah,
like-
what is he
Hey,
doing?
can-
Is he
can-
going off? I don't
Trish,
like when people
you
go
can
off.
cry in public.
I wouldn't though.
But you
But
can.
you can, though.
You can. He
And
might.
a
Hey,
guy
he might
can
shed a
too.
tear.
It just depends where
Nah,
we're at.
nah.
It depends. I feel like location plays a big
Girls
role.
can cry
If we're at a
anywhere.
wedding and a guy's crying,
All right,
that's fine.
It depends on the cry.
If we are,
Nah,
no,
if it's a
it's
tear,
fine.
if it's a tear, if it's a tear, you gonna be like,
no, hey,
No, that's
I'm gonna be the best
fine.
man, just dying laughing.
Listen, but if we're at the club,
and girls say they want you to cry. Like my girl's like, if we get married, when we get married, you gotta cry. Okay, if you see me out there,
he better cry. He better cry. If I don't see a tear, I'm like,
That's
stop
what
the
you
music.
think. That's what you think.
No,
But if he
that's
starts
what I
crying
know,
and then you
because
looking
he
at him,
feels it.
you're looking at him, you're looking at your mom, you're looking back at him, you're looking at your dad, you're looking at him, you're looking at his parents. He's just like, this what you raised? Like he can't even stand up straight and talk to me.
I would be
Baby,
so
I just
in
wanna-
love. I would be like,
all
cause
my
then I know
life.
he feels it. But if you there, Kel, head, you just looking at me like no emotion, no emotion, no nothing. I'd be like, hello.
You can start again.
I mean, do you want to play it back?
He can have emotion, but if he's crying like how y'all really want him to
No,
cry,
he could cry, baby.
All right.
Go ahead,
At the
cry,
wedding,
baby.
yes,
At
he
the
might
wedding, you
cry.
cry.
Kev,
Oh
watch.
my God.
Guys
Watch.
cry at sports games. Come
No,
on now.
I don't.
When their team loses, they cry.
Like y'all
That's
on the
because they
team.
drunk already.
No,
I'm
no
done.
drunk, nothing like that. If they are like hardcore fans, they will cry if their team loses. I've seen it. I've seen it all.
Oh, now y'all don't want to talk. Oh, why y'all
I
quiet?
don't cry.
Oh,
I don't cry.
When the Saints lost,
When the Saints lost,
I was.
Okay, all
that's what
right.
I thought.
That
You
is too.
you
I
were
wasn't
heartbroken.
Drop
I wasn't
Smite.
crying, though.
You were
Drop
heartbroken.
Smite. We done with that. Y'all lost that one.
They cheated, but okay. It's a topic for another day.
So guys, was there a particular moment you felt like you became a man? And ladies, was there a particular moment you felt like you became a woman?
What type of podcast is it?
Yeah, I was just about to say, because I mean, aside from that, I kind of feel exactly the same. Like if I can exclude, the obvious,
Right.
I don't know. I mean, it's all the same. I live my life. I mean, I feel old. I don't feel like I'm a man.
When do you feel like you transition from child to man? I think that's
Yeah,
what
that's
starting to
what
figure
the
I
out.
don't know.
question.
I mean, like once you start holding down a job, you go to work and you like pay bills, I guess. And I don't know. Once you realize you have to take care of yourself, you can't just be. You have to do things to exist. Like you can't just sit around. Like even if you live at home, there's certain things you got to take care of. If you're sitting past a sink full of dishes, and you just breeze by, like come on, man. It's like you go to work, but you come home and don't do jack. Like you got to start taking responsibility for things yourself. The upkeep of your vehicle. If you a guy in your car dirty 24/7, don't come at me, bro.
I feel like I became a woman when it's just like, as Zupe said, like you're taking responsibility for your action. You're taking responsibility of making sure you're upkeeping yourself. But also, I feel like as a woman, I feel like I became a woman when I was able to look out for another woman. So like if I see something that's going wrong or some type of injustice, I know instinctively I need to protect her or stand up for her. Like I need to speak for her, because I've seen it before where it's like even older women who are like twice my age, they feel like they can't stick up for themselves. And once I start sensing that, something inside me tells me, go stick up for her, go help her, or go help them out. And I feel like if I can do that, then I feel like, yes, I am being a woman where I'm protecting someone else as who is a woman.
That's a queen fixing another queen's crown, right?
Yes.
Okay. So essentially for me, I just think, what was the question? When do you feel like you
Became a man.
It's the wrong one. I feel like
And you read it too. You looked at it like you had it. I'm like,
these words don't match what y'all said. All right. Yeah, but I think I agree with DePay. That's I believe it's when you become independent for yourself. You start to take care of yourself. That self-care is very important in terms of growing up. I believe as a child, you have your parents doing everything for you. You're pretty much coddled. But the second you say, I want to stand on my own 2 feet, I want to walk this world without any crutches, I believe that's when you essentially are a man. So that's me.
For me, it's a little different because I felt like, well, basically I've always had to like take care of me from the jump. So I felt like stepping into becoming a woman was the moment I realized that I had to put myself first. Like once I really stepped into knowing me, loving me, putting myself first, putting other people on the back burner and getting in tune with who I am, the things that I like to do, that's when I fully became a woman because I was whole alone.
Okay.
Before
So
that I
like,
needed
you got
anyone
to
else.
realize or get to learn who you are.
Right.
Okay.
So that's when I felt like I stepped into that.
Okay.
I guess
I rock with that.
I like that. I like that.
question. All right, guys, what is the manliest thing about you? Ladies, what is the manly feature you look for in a man?
manliest thing about me? I feel like that's like a.
I think that's to
Yeah,
each
that's a
his own.
subjective
That's
question.
to each his own.
All right, so what is the
About
manliest
you.
thing about you?
But I feel like that's not even a question I can answer. That's a question like.
I feel like that's an opinionated question.
Yeah, like you
from
kind of have
an
to.
Okay.
external-
You have
external
you have to
source.
see what the
Someone
what
else
the
can
crowd
say
is
it.
saying. Like if
Okay.
you've been with, like a group of women, and it's like let's say they all kind of seem to pick a certain thing or certain things about you, and it's like, oh my gosh, like you so like.
It's like, what's the
you know,
cutest thing about you?
Yeah, like you're real
Well,
protective.
then what do you
like
always
you're real,
hear?
I am a I've gone through
He's
my
like-
relationships and made a lot of mistakes. Not like I've cheated or anything like that, but it's like when you date and you're young, it's like you gotta like realize certain things you're doing aren't right. Like it's like, either that's emotionally or just like the attention you pay to somebody. So it's like I'm a different person then versus now, but I don't know. I mean, this might sound like really stupid, but I mean the only thing I ever really get complimented on dating wise or masculinity wise is like, oh my gosh, like you have muscles or like.
I was gonna say that. I was surprised that you didn't say that
I
because
don't
you're
want to
big
be that
into the
guy
gym.
because
Okay.
it's like I go to the gym. I'm a trainer. I hang out at the gym. Like the gym is my life. Like it's a very big part of my life. But it's like I guess like my physical appearance, like my musculature and stuff like that. Even my girl, she's like said I don't want to out you too bad, but she's like she's like after dating you, I won't go back to dating a smaller guy. Like I'll date someone like about your size, and she doesn't even want me to get bigger. But that's gonna have to happen. There are some goals I have to. There are some goals I have to achieve. I got to deadlift certain amounts and squat
So
and bench.
is it like
and
you don't want to be your muscles. You want to see
I want to be a person. It's like I am
We
not.
all trying to be human.
Yeah, it's like
I'm
I'm not just body parts. I'm not just body parts, but it's usually just like muscles or whatever. Because
You
I
don't
don't.
want to be objectified.
Yes, thank you, Kevin.
Oh my God, I feel you,
okay.
bro. I feel you.
You
It's
don't
like
have to
I'm
answer.
shoulders
I'm
and chest and all
sorry.
this stuff. It's like
You don't have to answer. Do you have something?
man. I
It's
can't grow a
okay.
beard, so I can't be like my beard. But it's like.
You got the mustache.
You
I
got
can,
the
I
hair.
can grow some facial hair, but I get impatient with it, shave it off because it's all patchy. It's taking too long. Keep the mustache.
Okay.
I'm not patient.
Will your beard be yours or?
No. Yeah, I don't really get complimented for like manly features. I'm not DePay here with the muscles and
Not yet. I told you train with the pay. You got that.
yeah, but
Pay from the Ray on Instagram and YouTube. Check me out.
that's a
He
nice.
does training, ladies. He does training.
That's a nice plug. Yeah, I wouldn't really say my manliest feature is a physical feature. I think I'm gonna go a different route and say that mine is more a mental thing. I believe once I started to think for myself, I feel like that's the manliest thing about me. To walk this earth, not caring what other people think, and essentially my decisions are my own decisions. I think that's manly. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's not a physical feature for me, but
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know what feature I necessarily look for in a man. It's just like, it's not like, oh, I'm going out actively searching for it. It's
You don't
more
have
so,
a type or like
yeah,
a
it's
okay.
more so like, all right, how am I feeling with you?
It's a vibe.
Yes. But I would probably say like your relationship with your mother is probably something that I actively seek. Like, are you like close with your mother? Is there like a good relationship with that mother or with your sister or siblings or something like that? That's something like I would look for. Like, are you able to provide even though you don't necessarily have to?
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
Me and my mom are cool, so I guess that works.
And you?
For me, it would have to be communication, cause I feel like you have to be able to talk. That shutting out, that shutting down, that closing the door, and that just I can't. Cause I feel like how can you sit here and say that you're a man and you about what you be talking about, but you can't even have a simple conversation about things.
That's true.
So that's a big thing for
That's a
me.
good thing.
So it's not
That's-
not
yeah.
physical. It's more so, are you able to communicate?
That works. That's
Yeah.
real.
We're down to our last question.
All right, I'll read it.
Okay.
All right. Do you often share your feelings in your relationship or with your friends? If so, do you ever tell them you're being too emotional? I feel like we just went full circle. We went full circle here. DePay, you wanna reset
The
what you said?
we already know how he feels.
Okay, no,
So
okay,
deep
so
in
I
my
don't know.
feelings.
It's a growing experience, the whole feelings route, because like sometimes I'll be mad and like we'll get into an argument and then we'll talk about it. I mean, I don't know. We'll talk about it. Yeah.
Do you?
We
though?
do. Because
Really?
I
Do
don't
you
mind
willingly
talking.
talk about
I don't
it?
mind talking.
Okay.
That's
Like when I
good.
calm down, like I can talk. And then it's like going through talking, I'll be like, all right, yeah, like this was kind of like the reason for that. Or it's like there was no need to get mad about that. You should have spoke earlier. But I don't know. My thing is like, I don't want to sit here and be like, well, that made me feel uncomfortable. I'm upset about this. I don't
So
like
it's
the
the
way
way
you
you
did that.
approach
I
it.
wish she
Okay.
was like
Because
that.
it's like, I don't know. I don't want to keep coming to you being like, babe, I didn't really like that. Like, because then I feel like I got to sit here and come up to you in like a certain way. Like, I'd rather just like,
Like you feel like you're nagging.
yeah, like I don't want to
starts
be like
yeah.
this little baby boyfriend. Like, I'd
okay.
rather just sit here and either relax and see if I like calm down about it, or it's like if it makes me upset, then I'll vocalize the upset, and then we'll get to the real reason of why it made me upset later.
Okay. I feel for me, in any form of relationship, I know myself to the point where just like if I am mad in that moment, if I know I'm going to say something reckless, I'll walk away.
Yes.
If I know I cannot
Oh.
control my reckless mouth, I'm
Oh.
going to walk away from you and just give us some distance, like a good 2 to 3 days distance, so that I can collect myself and really evaluate the whole
2 to
situation.
3 days?
I need to.
That's
That
it.
makes me more reckless. Like, you
No,
poking
I need
fire.
The time, I need the time to like really evaluate from the beginning to the end as to how we got to this point, like what went wrong, so I can figure it out if it was me, if it was you, or if it was just both of us, or the situation.
And you needed 72 hours?
Yeah, like,
Yeah,
Yes.
that's some
so I
processing
can,
time.
So I can get my
I
words.
FedEx
feel
come
like-
faster than
I
that.
feel like it's a
Amazon come faster than that.
I know myself to the point where like I know for me words mean a lot. So how you're saying and what words you're using, I put very heavy emphasis on those things.
Cool.
So if I'm texting you something, I want to make sure the words come out correctly. I don't want to come out like, or I'm attacking you, or just like I'm putting everything onto you.
'Cause you
I
mean
want it
what
to
you
take-
say.
Yes, I want to be able to take the responsibility if I was responsible for something. But if we're in person talking, I want you to know that something may, in the heat of the moment, something reckless may come out, and I didn't mean it that way, or I didn't necessarily mean to say it. So that's
Okay.
why I need the time to like collect myself, calm down from all that hype.
That's
I don't know,
understandable.
those couple of days.
All right, maybe 1 to 2 days. That better?
That's still, because
I
it's like
mean-
some things have happened where it's like, we take a, whatever, a certain amount of time, but it's like, come back to me. It's like, I could be
Yeah.
chilling. I could be in the best mood. I'm eating my favorite food. My mom just
Here
cooked. I'm
comes
watching
something
TV.
2 days.
And
It
then-
happened 2 days ago.
And then, boom, you text me, and I'm same energy again.
Okay,
You're going to
so-
get the same heat. Like, you got to
Yeah,
continue with me.
I'm not with
I can't
that.
pause. I
That
can't.
2
We have,
days
we
out.
have to keep it.
Yeah,
we have to
just
keep it.
talk
Exactly,
about
yeah,
it.
you gotta
All
get
right,
the
I'll talk about it in that moment, but I'm not gonna go full force because I know I'm going to say something that's gonna hurt you. I know.
I'd
myself.
rather.
But then are
We
you
have
gonna bring
residual,
it up
because now we
again?
have residual things left
Yeah.
over, and it's gonna come. We think the other guy thought they were finished with this topic,
Exactly.
but it's gonna come back later,
Exactly.
and then. No, that one
It
person thought it was
becomes a
done, the
time
other person
bomb.
wasn't, and essentially it's gonna start something else.
And if you, I don't like to go to sleep mad.
it's
Like,
just it's like, hey, that's
Well,
how I
it is
feel.
what
I
it
don't
is.
care.
That's my
I'm
processing time.
gonna give you the reckless. Either you can take the reckless and deal with it, or you're gonna have to wait that little process time so I can like calm down myself. Maybe I can give it like a few hours, but I need that
Yes.
time to calm
Yes.
down to get from that 100 to back to 0. I
a
need
few
that
hours
time.
is good. A few
All
hours.
right.
A few
If you come
hours,
back
yeah.
to me the next,
We have to keep it in the same day.
yeah, you can't.
I'll work on
You
that.
can't
We gotta
switch
keep it in
days.
the same day.
You come back to me tomorrow, you're gonna get flamed.
I can't go to sleep and then wake up and then
Yeah, you ruined my whole sleep,
Right.
tossing and turning, my back
Oh, I
hurt
go
and
to sleep
stuff.
perfectly
I'm
fine.
done.
Rest me up.
All that.
That's part of what made me mad. I'm like, she's sleeping good on that pillow out there.
For me, I'm a talker, so we gotta talk. I'm sorry, I gotta say what I have to say, and that's just how it is. Like, if you can't respect that, then it's like, if I can't say what I gotta say, then we don't need to talk.
Point blank.
pretty much.
It's dead,
Period with a T.
done. It be that said.
Is that how you say that?
What about you, Kev?
Let me see the question again. Do you often share your feelings? Yes, I do. Share my feelings. Actually, no, I don't. I usually keep those bottled up because I feel like, for me personally, it's not gonna. This has nothing to do with you guys and your answers.
I feel
Me-
attacked.
No, but for me personally, I know how to fix my own problems or whatever.
I feel that.
Yeah,
I feel
I don't necessarily.
Of course.
I don't necessarily.
Of course, you
Shade?
second that motion.
I don't necessarily share all my feelings unless it's detrimental to me. Like if I know I can't process this without telling you how something made me feel, then I will come to you. Yeah, I don't really share my feelings with my friends, but my friends somehow, they know they can come to me and they can share their share whatever's off with them with me. It's just, it doesn't really work the other way around with me, because I generally just take care of myself.
That's
You're the fixer. You don't get fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that.
Yeah.
You just had to add that.
Sometimes the fixer needs some fixing too.
That is
true.
very true.
Therapists have
There's times in life where it's like you feel like you're alone and you can't really open up to anybody, because everybody looks at you and thinks that you're always okay.
Right.
And
back to what I was saying in the
yeah,
beginning.
for me personally, people look at me as if I'm the person that's just happy-go-lucky, just trying to crack a joke. But sometimes there are things that sometimes there are things that are overwhelming, but you don't really have an outlet for that. So
You guys have to listen to him better. That's what he's saying.
Kevin, that hello was a little slow. You all right? You all right, Kev?
There was no happiness behind that. Hello.
Okay, but I do have a choice few friends that I do.
We'll talk to.
Yeah, I will talk to.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. As long as you do.
My girl gets all my venting. Like, I be coming home from work talking about something. Man, I had to throw this guy down the stairs. And da, 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 da. Like, okay, so little side note about what I do. I'm a bouncer, so sometimes we got to throw people out. Sometimes people get, 9 times out of 10, you can't get under my skin. There's always one. You just make me hot. So she'll usually hear about it. So I don't come out about my feelings. I'll more or less just tell you, and that makes me, like, what happened, and that'll make me feel better. I'm not like, oh, I feel disrespected, but I'll rather just, like, tell you the situation. Yeah, and just, like, give you the run back, and it makes for good conversation, because we talk all the time, so sometimes we run out of stuff.
Okay. I feel like for me, like, I don't have a problem with sharing as much, but I probably won't go deep, like, why I'm feeling this way, whatever. I'll probably tell you, like, yes, I felt this way and during this time. But like I said earlier in the recording, it's like, for me, if I open up to a friend, we have to be very close. So it takes a time for me to consider you as a close friend.
Exactly.
First,
That is.
start off as
true.
an acquaintance. That's it. For a good hot minute, you were just an acquaintance to me.
I can't give you everything.
And then slowly progress to like friend and stuff like that. But even at that point, I still won't open up to you until, like, I don't know, something happens.
You feel like
you
that
have
you could
to
trust
feel it.
Yeah. Like I said, like, my cousin is my best friend, so with her I can tell her little anything. Like, we'll go through arguments where it's just like we know each other, where it's like we know how to, if we get in an argument, we know how to resolve the argument in that processing time. So like for me, I know I can always go to her,
right,
as opposed to like I don't have to like depend on my friends to tell them what's going on.
That's understandable. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for coming to talk to me. This is actually our first time meeting, and it was actually pretty lit.
It was
had
fun.
good
It was fun.
vibes.
It was very fun. It was fun.
I always have a tradition at the end of my episodes. I always give my audience a weekly challenge. So, do you guys want?
Last time I did something for you. Last time I did something for you, I had to talk about myself. I'm all right.
Okay, cool. So
Okay.
I'll think of one. I have to think about it. So I'm gonna add it to the
I thought you had
later.
it already.
No,
Okay,
I don't
okay,
have it.
okay.
I have to think about it. But I do appreciate you guys for coming and talking to me. It was really lit. So
It's no
Thanks
problem.
for having us.
Thanks for having us.
you're
for real.
welcome.
All right.
Holla.